the smart people in the industry are beginning to realize that the markets are shifting. We're not sure what they are yet, but we know there is a pent-up demand. We know that particularly amongst the leading-edge boomers, those late 50s, early 60s, they're a different generation. They've been different all their life. So we're not sure what they want. What we're looking for is to follow them, and that's why the silent generation, those who are in their 70s, is so valuable, because they're beginning to create some of the niches. They're beginning to create some of the new trends. So I'm not sure that the leading edge boomers are going to necessarily want anything that different right now, but I think what we're starting to see is they do want greener, more efficient homes. They want more open homes. The location of those homes is increasingly important. Particularly, more and more people are looking for walkable neighborhoods with a mix of services and amenities and stores. That's the kind of design really now. It's community design, neighborhood design that's so important. The house itself, I think we're going to see many more smaller homes. Not everybody's going to want a smaller home. Some can afford a larger home. Some of the leading edge boomers will want their dream home. But I think that there are going to be more who are going to be practical and say, I'm going to live longer. I need to be more careful and practical with my resources. I don't need all that space. In fact, I'd like a smaller space because I want to travel. And I'd like a place I can just lock the door and walk away from. So I think we're right at the right time to really be close to the market and really be thinking about what are people in their 70s doing? How relevant is that to different groups within the leading edge boomers? They're not all going to do the same thing. One of the real critical aspects here is there are going to be many niches, not just one type of product. The industry would like to have younger people move in. How are they going to do that? They need to change that model completely so that you have intergenerational, mixed generational communities. They're just beginning to find ways of doing that. And there's a model that's very successful that's in the report where a traditional senior housing community is built in the same block as a apartment community, really that's housed mostly by students because there's a university right nearby, and they have retail, and the retail is actually a liquor store, which happens to serve both generations very happily. So finding the way to locate senior housing communities in a mixed generational neighborhood is one way to do that. So the industry is really struggling with how to change that whole model. There are the whole question of age-restricted communities. Will those continue, or do they need to be redesigned? And there's a whole effort going on to rethink the master plan community. How do you incorporate different age groups and different housing types within a master plan community of the future? So at all different age levels and all different types of housing, there's a rethinking going on, which is important now because right now the most disruptive group, the leading edge boomers, are only in their 60s. So they're really pretty much still thinking of themselves as people in their 50s, and they're not really thinking about particular kinds of age-targeted housing. But by the end of this decade, they will be in their 70s, and they will very much be thinking about that. And so the industry should be preparing for that right now by looking at those in the silent generation. What are they doing? Following the interests and mores of the leading generation and really thinking ahead, because it can take 5 to 10 years to really plan a successful new community.